The Golden Plate, Greed and Honesty. Once upon a time in a place called Seri, two salesmen ventured into the town to sell their wares. They agreed to divide the town between them, allowing each to sell in the other's territory once they were done. Little did they know that their paths would intersect in a tale of greed and honesty. One day, as one of the salesmen walked down a street, a poor little girl caught sight of him and pleaded with her grandmother for a bracelet. The grandmother, knowing their impoverished state, responded sadly, "How can we, poor as we are, afford a bracelet?" Undeterred, the little girl suggested trading their black sooty old plate in exchange for the desired item. Curiosity piqued, the salesman accepted their invitation and entered their humble abode. However, upon assessing their poverty and innocence, he decided not to waste his time and dismissed their request for a bracelet. The old woman then proposed exchanging the seemingly worthless plate for the bracelet. The salesman, pretending not to notice its true value, declared, "This is worth nothing. I have no use for it." Deceived by his ruse, the poor family reluctantly let him go, hoping for a better opportunity later. Unbeknownst to them, the second salesman, having finished his own sales in his designated area, followed the first salesman's path. He eventually arrived at the same house, where the little girl once again implored her grandmother to trade the old plate for a bracelet. The grandmother, observing the kindness and sincerity in the second salesman's demeanor, invited him in. Upon examining the plate, the second salesman discovered its concealed beauty, a pure gold plate worth a fortune. Rather than taking advantage of the family's ignorance, he acknowledged the plate's true worth. Overwhelmed by his honesty, the grandmother agreed to accept whatever he could offer for the plate. The second salesman proposed a trade, offering all his pots, pans, trinkets, and even his entire wealth, except for 8 coins and his balancing scale with its cover to hold the precious golden plate. They made the exchange, and the second salesman proceeded towards the river, where he paid 8 coins to the ferryman for passage across. Meanwhile, the greedy first salesman, driven by visions of imagined profits, returned to find the little girl and her grandmother. He now offered a few meager cents for the seemingly worthless plate, believing he could secure it for a pittance. However, the grandmother calmly informed him of the recent trade with the honest salesman, exposing his deceitful ways. She uttered, "Sir, you lied to us." Realizing he had lost a priceless treasure worth a fortune, the greedy salesman felt a pang of sadness. Desperate to reclaim what he believed was rightfully his, he inquired about the direction the honest salesman had taken. Leaving his possessions behind, he hurried down to the river, consumed by a burning desire for revenge. Spotting the honest salesman still crossing on the ferry, he shouted for him to return. However, the honest merchant, wise and virtuous, urged the ferryman to continue to the other side, heedless of the greedy salesman's pleas. Realizing his pursuit was in vain, the greedy salesman was consumed by a surge of hatred towards the honest man who had won the golden plate. In his rage and frustration, the greedy salesman's heart gave way, and he succumbed to a heart attack, gasping his last breath. His insatiable greed ultimately led to his demise. This story carries a valuable lesson. Honesty is the best policy. It teaches us that the path of integrity and truthfulness not only brings rewards but also protects us from the perils of greed and.
Remember to hit the subscribe button and click the notification bell to stay updated with our upcoming videos. Join our community of like-minded individuals and embark on a transformative journey of personal growth. Subscribe now and let's embark on this incredible adventure together.